This is Dr. Ryan Johnson with the course Introduction to Statistics. Today we're doing section 9.2, which is Comparing Multiple Proportions Theory-Based Approach, which means we're doing chi-squared. So, you should have already done the reading. The reading focuses on a study that I find super fascinating, in that there was several studies. There was a study done involving people who had chronic low back pain, and some of the people got a acupuncture that follows traditional Chinese medical principles, and some of the people got a fake acupuncture, just inserting needles into the skin, but not at acupuncture points and not very deep. And then another group of people got the traditional American way to do it with some drugs, some exercise, some physical therapy, and the sham acupuncture did almost as good as the real acupuncture, and both of them did way better than the traditional drugs and exercise and physical therapy, which is just fascinating. And it just kind of shows you how pain and our neurological systems are just very complex and confusing things. You probably answered a lot of questions about that, and I'm going to scroll down to here because I'm going to need some of these formulas later on in the worksheet. Okay, in our worksheet, the study was a study done about a hotel and looking at different messages and figuring out which messages were the most effective. This is really similar to a type of study that people often do in marketing called like an A/B study, except instead of A/B, you've got A, B, C, D, E. When you in marketing, you might try several different messages, and you see like which group, which message lands best, and you can use statistics to see which group, which message you should have used. And so here, this hotel, they're not using it marketing for the sake of selling, but they are marketing in a way to save themselves money, because they want to wash your towels less often, and so. They also may want to be good to the environment, but you can use your own judgment to see which one seems more important in their minds. Now, let's look at these messages. So the first message is help save the environment. You can show your respect for nature and help save the environment by reusing your towels during your stay. So this is called no social norm. Okay? Then, join your fellow guests. So message 2. Join your fellow guests in helping to save the environment. In a study conducted in fall 2003, 75% of the guests participated in our new resource savings program by using their towels more than once. You can join your fellow guests in this program to help save the environment by reusing your towels during your stay. So other guests do it. So the guest identity norm. Message 3. Join your fellow guests in helping to save the environment. In a study conducted in fall 2003, 75% of the guests who stayed in this room participated in our new resource saving program by using their towel more than once. You can join your fellow guests in this program to help save the environment by reusing your towel during the stay. Same room norm. So this is called the same room norm. Okay. I'm not sure if they're telling the truth because it wouldn't have been true for all 70, like for every room, it'd be 75%. So we'll see. Message 4, join your fellow citizens in helping to save the environment. In a study conducted in fall 2003, 75% of guests participated in our new resource saving program by using their towel more than once. You can join your fellow citizens in this program to help save the environment by reusing your towels during your stay. So this is the citizen norm. So they're kind of appealing to your citizenship. Then message 5. So let's see if I can. There we go. Join the men and women who are helping to save the environment. In a study conducted in fall 2003, 76% of the women and 74% of the men participated in our new resource saving program by using their towel more than once. You can join the other men and women in this program to help save the environment by reusing your towel during your stay. So because it splits by gender, it's called the gender identity norm. Okay. Then, so data was collected on 1,595 people with these messages, and for each person, The room attendant recorded whether the hotel guests reused their towels. So, now we get into the questions. In your own words, state the research question of interest in this study. And so, a good thing to remember is that the reason that we named those messages like norms is like the idea of social norms. And then we're kind of wondering, think about like, if you're looking at the numbers, what numbers would stand out? So that's how you should frame your research question. Okay? So number 2, identify the explanatory and response variables in the study along with their types. For the explanatory variable, indicate how many categories it involves. So for each variable, explanatory and response, identify what type of variable, and if it's categorical, how many categories. So number 3, this is kind of a review question from last chapter. Did the study design make use of any pairing of subjects, or are the subjects who received the different signs independent of each other? So hopefully, given, let's kind of review from last chapter, you're able to answer that question. Number 4, state the appropriate null and alternative hypotheses for testing the researcher's conjecture using both words and symbols. Now, for words, a good word for you is association. And then for symbols, you want to have your null hypothesis. It's easy to write with only symbols and equal signs. But for your alternative hypothesis, because this is kind of new, I'm just going to tell you that you want to say something like at least one of the proportions is different. Instead of proportion, you can use the symbol for proportion. But at least one of them is different, because to actually write out all the symbols is, the alternative hypothesis, if at least one of them is different, to write that all out, you've got 5 categories. And so you could have like, this one's different from the other 4, or this one, or this one, or this one, or this one, or these 2 are different from these 3. So just at least one's different from the others is the one you want to go with. Okay. Number 5, paste a two-way table from the towels into the multiple proportions applet. Then in sample data box, press use table. Now I have good news for you, because the applet, so if we would go to the link to the applets at the top of Canvas and multiple proportions. And then I have good news for you. The data is already in there. So you select towels, and then you don't click use data, click use table. Now, I'm going to do this real quick, and then I'm going to delete the OO so that everything lines up. And then I'm going to change my numbers so that you still have to use the app in order to get your answers. You can't just watch the video and watch me do it. So let's see. I think I want there to be, let's increase the number of people who got the gender one, and decrease the number of people who got the guest one. And maybe let's increase this and use that. So then I'm going to click use table. And so now it took my table and then created like the number of, created all this whole list of that matches that table. Okay. It needs to do that because it has to do the simulation. All right. Now, so I checked the box next to show table in order to present the two-way table of counts and calculate conditional proportions of those who reuse towels. Okay. So report these 5 proportions. So show table. So then what you need to do is report these proportions, this bottom row right here. Okay. B, look at the segmented bar graph as well as conditional proportion. Conjecture whether you think there will be significant difference among the 5 groups with regard to towel use. So this one, it's just going to be graded on whether or not you answer it, because it's conjecture. So we're not going to grade on whether your conjecture is right or not. We just want you to try to guess at it. Okay. Step 4. So we're already at step 4. Look at that. Draw inferences upon the data. Now step 4 is actually one of the longer steps. So because there's a lot of work in regarding, like, when you've got multiple groups, there's just a lot more math you got to do to figure this all out. Okay, so number 6, let's apply the 3S strategy. So statistic, report the observed value of the mean group diff. So that is the statistic we're using, the mean group diff. The difference in group means for all possible pairs of groups. Statistic for the study as given by the applet. Simulate. Use the applet, conduct 1,000 shuffles. We'll have to click the show shuffle options. I dare you to say that 5 times fast. And then enter 1,000 and press shuffle responses. Then enter the observed value of the mean group diff in the count samples box and press count to report the p-value. So I need to go over here, show shuffle options, and then it said to do a 1,000, but my computer can handle 10,000, so I'm going to do it that way. And then I'm going to click shuffle. It's going to take some time, and then it got it. Okay, and then my observed mean group diff is 0.05, and so I threw that over here. And then I definitely want greater than, because this is not a symmetric thing around 0. This is taking absolute value of the differences, so it can only be positive. So to be more extreme is only to be more positive. So that's a difference from other things we've done. A lot of times with simpler statistics, we end up with a bell curve around 0, and then more extreme is either side. But since we're doing absolute value, more extreme is only positive. Okay? So then I would report my p-value. So mine is 0.0682. Yours will be different. Okay. So then strength of evidence. Based on the p-value, evaluate the strength of evidence provided by the data against a null hypothesis. Summarize your conclusion in the context of the study. So that's 2 things. So for me, this shows that I have only moderate evidence that something is different. And so